contentment, I always say, is a state of mind where a person experiences uninterrupted peace.
Expression of gratitude. When you think about gratitude, you automatically get into contentment.
So I should be happy with what I have. I had no shoes and complained until I met a man who had no feet.
Correct.
That's a fantastic.
No expectations, total peace. Less expectations, reasonable peace. Unrealistic expectations, only problems.
Who is rich, who is wealthy, is a person who earns but lives within its means.
Right.
He is richer.
Right.
But if you are content with yourself,
Correct.
if you are content with whatever you have,
Correct. Gratitude to the past, acceptance in the present, and aspiration for the future. Contentment and disappointments, expectations and regrets, aging gracefully and growing old. Three major choices and contradiction in individual's life. We want everyone to experience contentment much more than disappointments. We want everyone to manage expectations well than experience regrets. And we want everyone to age gracefully. Growing old is not an option. To discuss this, we have carefully selected three guests who are living life well, who are aligning their choices with right priorities. They have a spiritual alignment. They are executing their obligatory duties properly, and they are close to 60, I guess. I don't know still Venuji's age, I'm not aware. And so, carefully selected guests to deal with the most wise choices an individual can make. So, welcome all the three heroes to this podcast. So, and we're going to start with the major choice and contradiction, contentment and disappointments. See, contentment, I always say, is a state of mind where a person experiences uninterrupted peace. Whatever the situation is, there's peace within. And if you ask me, it is a necessary experience for everyone, starting from the age of 15 till the age of 95 or 100. Contentment is essential. In fact, the more you age, greater must be your experience of contentment. Going through stress and strain at early ages, maybe 25 to 30 and all is fine, or 40, but contentment is a necessary experience without which the quality of life takes a heavy beating. And as I mentioned, contentment is also an experience of freedom from the demands and cravings of your mind. I'm going to welcome your guests, but your views, but I want to start with what is not contentment. Let's understand what is not. In fact, there is a misunderstanding with contentment. A person in a one-bedroom apartment who thinks that this is enough, that's enough for me, may not be contentment. A person who does not have an ambition, a goal, a higher aspiration is also not contentment. A person driving a small car, I drive a Picanto or a Sunny, I am fine with it, I don't want it. That is also not contentment. So we are trying to understand what is not contentment. So the world thinks that a person has a one-bedroom apartment or two, very content. They may be a fear of growth. They may be a fear of missing out on many things in life. So that is not contentment. It is a person who's living in the slums may say, I'm okay with it. That's not contentment. So a person who can live in a palaces or in great villas, all that I'm saying is contentment. There's a lot of misunderstanding with contentment. In fact, when you go to the West, they don't like that word contentment. You have to be ambitious. You have to be a go-getter. We want to debunk that understanding. So if you are not experiencing contentment, you end up facing disappointments. So to start that, we have Shivaraman ji in the real estate business for a long period of time. He is the CFO of a major company. Your views on contentment, Shivaraman ji?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to participate in this discussion with you. And I would also say I've been lucky to have been associated with you for the last over 15 years.
Yes.
Ever since I started my journey into Vedanta, never knew this existed before.
Correct.
Now,
Just to, when I add on, when I said we carefully selected the guests, these guests have been attending the weekly lectures for a considerable period of time. That's what I just wanted to mention to the viewers. Considerable period of time. Therefore, therefore their choice. Go ahead, sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So coming back to contentment, my definition, my view of contentment is like, it's, as you rightly said, it's a state of mind. It's being, being happy with what you have. And it's also, knowing how to, getting into something with the, not with the results in mind. Like from the childhood, let's say, when we start our education, I qualified as a chartered accountant when I was 21 years old. There's nobody in my family who's a chartered accountant, but I said, let me go and explore this path. Now, I did not at that time have any idea what I would do with my life. I just looked at it as a curriculum, a study, and then gave my 200% to it. And then, yes, like everything else, whatever you get, you become happy with that. And this applies to everything in life. When you have a partner, when you have children, when you see them grow in life.
Right.
So at every stage, if you're thankful, because we get so much given to us at all stages in life, and as you have told us many times, expression of gratitude. When you think about gratitude, you automatically get into contentment.
Correct.
We are so blessed that, we have a good life, we have family, we have a partner, I've got 2 lovely daughters. So for me, what more could be contentment?
Correct.
And every day I get up and I have a purpose. I feel that's what is contentment.
Correct. I'm glad. You're right in that way. That's why I said contentment is a necessary experience. And all that we have to see is people who are not content. It's a scary scenario. Yes, Venuji.
Hari Om, sir. Thank you very much for inviting us for this kind of a beautiful session. Before that, I would like to give you 2 minutes. How I started this spiritual journey, maybe 14 or 15 years back. I do my evening walks in Zabil Park. I was just walking in Zabil Park. There was a couple also walking. I mean, they don't know me, I don't know them. All of a sudden, the lady just approached me. You attended Sunandaji's lecture? Yes, sir. Yes, I attended. Then the introduction happened. From there, I started this beautiful journey from Ashokji's house to Nimish Gandhi, Burj Khalifa, and Zoom, and now it's happening in a beautiful temple, all these things. But this is the lady who approached me was none other than Saritaji. That approach, and she asked me, that was the effect, the cause, the effect is this beautiful journey. Like, I've gained, fantastic experiences with you and Saritaji. And because of these acquaintances, I had come to know many beautiful people, amazing qualities, and the experiences I had with them is lovely. All this happened because of Saritaji's, that first question, have you attended? That was a wonderful turning point in my life, I could say. Then with your experience, I met so many wonderful people, and I had experiences like, divine experiences, hospitable experiences, hilarious experiences, simple experiences. We have been to many places, we have walked and all these things. We get happiness in small things.
Correct.
Even in a small restaurant, a small meal makes us very happy. Divine experiences, this will always, I remember the divine experiences I had with Prasadji because of you people. This will come with me, all the, like Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, this will come with me, the, complete, whatever my birth and death is there, the Kashi and Tirupati and all these things. amazing hospitality in Poonamji's house, Sushmaji's house, Neenaji's house, and so many other things which we had, and hilarious experiences chasing the snake in the dream state, not helping, and in a dream state consciousness. How much times we have enjoyed that kind of an experiences with this gentleman, and even these two gentlemen I met only in this platform only, and simple and extraordinary patience, like our Nagaraj, we call him king of snakes all the time. How he's look at. He always says in Tamil, Kashtata Kashtama Park. I mean, I used to always wonder how this man can think like this. Then I also started seeing, because we have tough times sometimes in our hotel industry, because we are meeting with humans, right? So every human is different. You know that very well. Every time I have a lot of difficulties, immediately Nagarajan comes in my mind. Okay, this is how we need to do. Annapurni, Ramya, Deepa, Shiv. The list is so big. If I start telling this, this will not end. So because of that one incident, I have a great reference for Sarita ji and you. Pranams to both of you. My journey is beautiful. Like how the company of good happened to me. Adi Shankara tells in Bhajagovindam, Satsangatve and Nisangatam. That really happened with me. A lot of things to learn from all of you. It is still going on. Hope this journey will continue, forever. So that's my thing. And once again, pranams to you, sir. If that meeting is not there, definitely I would be like a rebel. Like how I was, because we have to be tough with sometimes, because our industry is, as I said, dealing with humans and things like that. If somebody makes mistakes, we were all like very, very rebellious. All these things were happening, but no more refined, more telling the people how they have to behave in a soft way. Like from historical, it is turned totally in a different way. Once again, thank you, Sarita ji. Thank you very much. Again, coming back to this contentment, sir. But contentment. We work hard, earn money, everything is happening. But what is happening most of the times, what I see, instead of increasing the standard, the life, right, or the happiness, the standard of life is improving. And mostly we are giving material value to the whatever we have earned. And that material value naturally happens us to compare with others. Once the comparison starts, colors.
Correct.
And everything happens, frustration and things like that. Then the greed comes. Once, okay, I have a Land Cruiser. Okay, he has a G63. Okay, I should work for. How long we will be in this race?
Correct.
So I should be happy with what I have. If I am not going to be happy with what I have today, even if I get billions and billions, I will not be happy at that time also. At that time, I may ask, I may need something else. So it keeps on going. So the race is always on. I am tired. I will not be in this race. God has given me fantastic. I am not highly qualified or like Shivaraman ji or Thiyagarajan ji. I am a simple graduate. God has given me, blessed me with everything. See how much I am getting from Him. I am very happy with what I am getting. I'm definitely, and I am getting the knowledge from you, from her, and God has definitely given me a fantastic wife, very patient wife, nice son, my daughter-in-law, nice kid. What else I need? Plus, a little bit of health is also there. Everything is God given. So I am highly contented in life. So I am not going to see others and what I have to do, because contentment can be you can get happiness unless your desires are fulfilled. But if you keep on increasing your desires every day, then naturally desires will keep on coming, sir. At one point in time, we need to see no more desires. I'm happy with what I have got. Today I need a Land Cruiser. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let me not, get things for that. And I'm grateful to my owner and my boss also. Even at this age, they trusted me. They're still, I'm working. Still, they feel I can produce results to them. This itself is a blessing for me. So this is how I see the life, and see not to see somebody, compare myself, get greed, and keep on going in this race. And contentment is the greatest virtue. So if somebody has that, he is happy. And okay, then. And giving others, that's also but is there. The happiness what you give others, that also is there. I would like to just read
Yes.
a few quotes from
Yes.
Swamiji's books.
Right.
I had no shoes and complained until I met a man who had no feet.
Correct.
That's a fantastic.
Correct.
I want more. And then life is to give, not to take. Like from Victor Hugo, gratitude is not the only greatest virtue, but the parent of all others. So what we have, everything what is bestowed on us, be grateful and just gratitude. That's it. When I passed shop, I was amazed of a number of things man can do without.
Right.
And finally, our Swamiji's on the greed. The tsunami of greed has swallowed up giant corporations and companies, causing financial crashes all over the world. This is what happened.
Correct.
I've seen this in 2009. I've seen this in 2019. Even 25 is for us is like this, greed
Right.
and all these things. That's all happening, because nobody's contented in all these things.
Right.
So what I feel, if somebody is not contented on what he is having now, he will not be contented whatever is. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm happy. And as you said many times in Karma Yoga, you keep doing your work, but don't get attached to the results of the action.
Correct.
Just act, live it. Whatever happens, it happens. This is what I believe in this contentment.
Fantastic. Such a lovely and detailed explanation. And I never heard like this from you, Venuji. I always consider all three of you as a family.
You called us, we spoke. Otherwise, when you are here, how can I talk?
No, it is so nice to hear. And see, what was evident was you spoke from your heart, which is what is. And I still remember the day we were walking in Zabil Park, and Sarita, this gentleman attended the lecture. I said, look here, he doesn't look like, first of all, a person who attends lectures. And then he had a wife, and I said, what if he mistakes you now? She said, it's okay, let me go and ask. So that effort was the key.
Me and my wife, sorry.
Go ahead.
We keep telling them almost, all the time, because of you both, we had fantastic company.
Correct.
So that is still going on. Otherwise, I wouldn't be knowing anybody. So company of good. Exactly Adi Shankara said. That's what happened to us.
Very good. Thank you so much. That is great.
Because I wanted to, share this. Because
yes.
On an open platform.
Correct.
That everybody should know. That's why I shared.
No, very nice of you. That's why these are things which matters. But thank you. Thank you for that great insight. Now to our favorite person, Thiyagarajan ji. What is contentment according to you?
Yeah, Hari Om. Thanks for this opportunity. Acceptance of a situation or a result probably leads to contentment.
Right.
It's more of a state of mind, as you have been mentioning it, and probably it is more experienced than is being exhibited. For example, sorrow, anger, fear. These are all exhibited.
Correct.
But contentment is what happens within.
Correct.
Right. So that is one of the things that one has to move towards to.
Yes.
And in terms of all other things, there are so many other things that you can have tools to control. Whereas contentment is, since it is within, you have to train yourself to be content. I think my colleagues, my friends had dealt with elaborately on what are the things that you can be content with. In fact, a rich person, as you had taught us early, who is rich, who is wealthy, is a person who earns but lives within its means.
Right.
He is richer.
Right.
You might earn $1 billion, but yet be poor.
Right.
Because probably your desires are much more than $1 billion.
Correct.
So contentment in terms of richness is more towards your self-belief and what you are actually content within yourself. Desires, right? How do you identify a content person? Like probably we have a couple of guys around. Yet, in terms of to put it in terms of words, you can see a calm demeanor.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
The person is always calm, composed, happy,
yes.
right?
Correct.
And he is more than that, self-sufficient.
Correct.
A content person need not be looking for other materialistic world.
Correct.
Right? He need not have to look for other things. No?
Correct.
He is content with whatever he had. I think while you are there, we were talking about how content we were in terms of having 18 years old TV in my house, and he was talking about his car. But anyway, as you said, Rakel, these are not contentment in the real sense.
Correct.
Contentment has to be a little more than, and it should not be confused with satisfaction. Satisfaction is a smaller thing. When your desire gets satisfied, it's a phenomena probably on a short term, whereas contentment is a longer term, or you get contented with your life, you get contentment with your the way of leading your life.
Correct.
Again, contentment in a materialistic world, you can always say eventually it leads to your spiritual progress. Why I say that? If you are content, your mind gets calmer. You don't. He rightly said. You also said you don't be greedy. You are always not looking for something else. If you are content with yourself,
Correct.
if you are content with whatever you have,
Correct.
it is probably the best way to calm your mind.
Yes.
And most importantly, the desires, as you know, is the root cause of all evil. And not being content, it puts you away from your spiritual path.
Correct.
So I think this is the first step or enabler, I would say, towards our spiritual progress. But at the same time, on the contrary, contentment in spiritual progress is a pig's contentment, right?
Right.
You taught us.
Correct.
So we should not be content on where we are in terms of spiritual journey. We should always be looking forward to something else. There is something else that is more to it, or probably there's something more I did not know.
Right.
Until and unless you experience that.
Correct.
So in terms of contentment and spiritual and material, these are all diametrically opposite stuff.
Right.
And one leads to the other. Yes. Venuji clearly pointed out contentment can be lost within a second. The moment you start comparing with others.
Correct.
Right? Even though, from my personal experience, well, you might have gone through several years of this training, but there are certain small things, one incident that really puts you off. And then when you really contemplate, that tells you where you are standing in terms of your spiritual journey. So one has to be really careful. And contentment being a mind phenomena, I think probably we had to bring in our intellect to have this. No amount of training or all other things will really help.
Correct.
I would rather say to bring in your intellect. So I think all the tools and enablers of strengthening the intellect and being content with whatever we have. Right. Sometimes we can also say resigning to the fate is also calms your mind, even though, well, it's again pig's contentment, but still, to some extent, it actually calms your mind. Okay, whatever has to happen has happened. Whatever God has blessed me, this is what my level is.
Sense of acceptance you're talking about.
Acceptance, right? So acceptance of a situation or result is definitely it helps you at least to start with.
Yes.
And then not being content is probably gets you to mood swings, and you will have drain of energy, frustration, disappointment, all these kind of things. So in short, it is more of a state of mind.
Yes.
And we probably have to experience it.
Correct. It's a very valid point, Thiyagarajan. Excellently put across. It's an internal experience. It's not an external expression. We can keep using the word "I'm very content" and "very content," but it's okay. But contentment is completely internal. As you mentioned, it's also the expression of calmness, quietness, silence. You're responding gracefully, not reacting aggressively. All these things are and it's important that to know that contentment is an effect. And as you mentioned, all of you mentioned, the intellect has to come into play. And we have in our classroom, we defined contentment. I don't want to go through it again. It's not there, and even if you ask ChatGPT, you will not get it. I mean, maybe after this podcast, you'll get it, I guess. So, contentment is is you experience when there is gratitude to the past, acceptance in the present, and aspiration for the future. 3 aspects. Contentment deals with your past, present, and the future. If I process past with disturbance or agitation, I can't be calm. I mean, it affects my. So whatever the past, good or bad, not that great or mediocre, you deal with the past with gratitude. That's the reason you also mentioned gratitude is the mother of all virtues. Where there is gratitude, there's a lack of agitation. So when it comes to the past, the way intellect works is it helps you deal with the past with gratitude. Whatever it is, you survived. Whatever it is, you still had the next day. When it comes to the present, it's one of acceptance. What disturbs us in the present, eventually it comes to non-acceptance of something or somebody or some experience. So when it comes to the present, it's one of acceptance. That's the reason all of you spoke about acceptance, which is powerful. Again, acceptance is not a ritual. There's a lot of spiritual alignment required. When it comes to the present, acceptance is king. Acceptance is power. Then when it comes to the future, there is aspiration. As you mentioned, it is otherwise it gets into pig's contentment. It looks very crude when I say why they say pig's content. Pig is content in filth, in dirt. It's rolling in dirt, and it says, look here. But that's how it is. So aspiration, not in the sense of increasing your money, or you have an aspiration, a nobler goal. And it could be you're making a lot of money, but you are helping your team, your people to get into a certain sense of abundance. Or we are here right now. Why with the podcast also we have lectures, but this will reach more audience. We never know. In fact, most of our podcasts are watched by people whom I've never met. Yesterday I met one person. He said, "I've seen your podcast." I said, "Where?" He said, "We have seen the podcast," and he was having a conversation. So it is aspiration for the future, a nobler goal, an unselfish ideal. So contentment is possible, absolutely possible, and contentment is a necessary experience. I don't think any individual should miss out on it. If you miss out on it, you are missing out on life. You're postponing happiness. So contentment deals with your past, present, and the future. Just to repeat, when it comes to the past, you process with gratitude. When it comes to the present, you deal with acceptance. When it comes to the future, there is a nobler goal. When all these 3 should go simultaneously. At some time, I am grateful to the past. No, all these 3 things should go simultaneously. Then there is calmness. There is quietness. And that contentment, as Thiyagarajan mentioned perfectly, only you would know. Others will never know, because they have to be there, that level of contentment to understand that. So disturbance is not an option. It's a contradiction, but many people are disturbed. See, disturbance is when you're living a life with unfulfilled desires. You had unfulfilled desires when you are 20, you are unfulfilled desires when you are 40, now when you are 60, some desire in our life is unfulfilled. Therefore, that creates disturbance. So, you are putting in effort and you are not getting the desired results. And that also disturbs you. So that's why even when Venuji mentioned you're giving your 200% and leaving it. That's the message of the Gita, the essence of Karma Yoga. So this is a major contradiction with reference to choices, contentment and disturbance. Next one I want to take up. Yes, sir. Yeah. Please go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
Life is always about pair of opposites.
Right.
One can never be contented all his life. So there will always be regrets. What I want to understand from you is there are times in life which I have faced, and I'm sure everybody has faced, when you do your best, but because of the actions not because of your own action, but because of circumstances beyond your control, or because of someone else's, wrongdoings, you end up into a result which is exactly the opposite of what you expected. So in that case, obviously, one has to face regret.
Correct.
So how does one deal with that situation?
Yes, regrets. I'm coming into the next.
Okay.
The next thing is expectation and regrets.
Okay.
I'm going to take up to it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, you briefly mentioned about the other civilizations, or I wouldn't say civilization, but other thinking in business parlance, saying that contentment is probably not, it's shunned.
Right.
There should not be content, there should always be growth.
Correct.
Can you highlight, throw some words on why it is not a right theory?
Good question. See, when it comes to business or profession, even spiritual life, you said, when we say contentment, it is, if it is, see, the difference here is when it comes to when you're using the intellect, there is no obsession, there is no greed, there is no craving for that, but there is an aspiration. There is a big difference here. Somehow I need to get it. Therefore, you will go any extent to get it. Then you get into trouble. See, in business, that's where a company is doing $5 billion. They have an aspiration to do $10 billion. But it's not that they want to kill the competition. And you welcome competition. This is where the intellect comes in. This is where the intellect comes in, where you want to grow. I mean, that's why another aspect we keep highlighting, when the goals are not growing, you stop growing. There are some great companies, they had a phenomenal market share, but they dropped because their market share dropped because their ambitions were not growing. See, it's like the two negative aspects to this question. One is greed, another is complacency. Another, you take it for granted. Why we have 50% over market share. Even if a competition comes, they will eke out 5%, but still 45% we have. There are companies which vanished.
Nokia.
They vanished. And it was Skype.
Yeah, Skype
was there. It is those days. I will Skype you. Who says that?
Become a verb.
A BlackBerry.
Yes.
If you are a top-notch management executive, you need to have a BlackBerry. Now, all the top-notch executives are having blueberries every day morning, not blackberries. So, what we are saying is two extremes: greed, obsession, or laziness, lethargy, taking it for granted. Both doesn't work. That's why we need leaders who are intellectually driven. It's a very fine or thin line where they start off with an aspiration, but it becomes an obsession. There's a time now they are not looking at that real growth. They are looking at how to outsmart someone else. So it's more ego battle. So this is all that we're saying. There is a reason you need a mentor, you need a guide, you need spiritual alignment, you need humility. All these things are necessary. It will keep your aspirations under check. You will keep growing, but you are not going to be obsessive. That's why most people who are obsessive lead to their own destruction. It's like Ravana had a harem, but the desire for Sita destroyed him. Obsession. You see people obsessed in certain things, but aspiration, how better I can do. It's like Graham Bell had some 1,000 failed experiments, but eventually he was not obsessed. When they asked him, they said, I came to know 1,000 ways of not doing it. Maybe more than that. Some people say 10,000 experiments. So it's not obsession. It is an aspiration. Therefore, the results happen. So it's a good question. Let us have an aspiration, a higher goal, not an obsession or not taking it for granted. Anyone who took it for granted, they perished. There are, you find economies, companies, individuals go through the same thing. You can't take anything for granted. You have to keep upscaling yourself. Upscaling, these days you're in real estate business. In normal apartments, nobody wants to buy branded, and it has something else. You're modifying it every time. I'm sure Shivaraman must be annoyed with the demands of new customers. There's one room where I should have a view of the sky, or Venuji is in the hospitality industry. There's no more simple food fusion. You need to give the same papad in a different way. Or you're an oil and gas industry.
So this is what's happening, sir. Your hard work, you come to number one position, everything is, but to retain there, when you want to be number one all the time, then the complete method changes, the system changes, then how to kill others.
Right.
Because I need to be number one all the time.
Correct.
So this is also sometimes,
It is, that's why it's ego gratification. That's why I keep highlighting your success should feed your responsibility, not your ego. I'm doing one podcast in Hyderabad, and quite a few. I'm saying it should feed your responsibility. You should feel more responsible. There are great leaders who are portrayed it. Why? It's up to you to look into leaders who you think are fit into that aspect. So it's a thin line. The moment you fall into the mind, there's obsession, there's greed. But if you have the intellect, this is where spirituality is nothing but improving the quality, sustaining the quality, progressing with that clarity. So then what happens? Your success is a blessing to you and to many others. One person's success could be a blessing to phenomenal people. We have enough. Venuji and all mentioned Ninaji, who feeds over 100,000 children every day. One person's success. It is so. It's just one example. History is witness to many such examples. So, all that we are saying is contentment is possible only when there is a confluence of mind and intellect, and the intellect plays a very strong role with reference to the past, present, and future. To remind, when it comes to the past, there is gratitude. Comes to the present, there is powerful acceptance. And when it comes to the future, there is an aspiration. Aspiration is not that I want to become a few million more. I may get a few million more, but I may serve many more through that. So that abundance is a blessing. So thank you. That's a good. It's a discussion which keeps evolving every time, because our clarity enhances. Now getting into the next one, the second contradiction and choice is expectation and regrets, and the expectation and regrets. When I say I want to give a brief on it, I'm going to delve more into regrets because I want you guys to talk about expectation. Expectation is a natural aspect in our life. I keep highlighting, if my parents didn't expect me and suddenly I pop in their house, they said, what happened? Everywhere there's expectation. The expectation is ingrained in our life. We can't avoid expectations. Therefore, we have to manage expectations well. That's why it is how well you deal with your mind when the expectations are not met. That's the aspect. Otherwise, you get into disappointments and regrets. And I'm sure you'll be delving more on it. It is. I want to highlight the contradiction here is expectation and regrets. I want to emphasize on regrets. There was a research done on people in the last stages of their life, and after elaborate research, they identified 5 major regrets a person is likely to face if they didn't deal with themselves well. The first one they said is, the regret is, I wish I had the courage to live my life according to my expectations rather than servicing others' expectation of me all the time. One of the major regrets is, I wished I lived my life according to my own expectations rather than living up to others' expectation all the time. It says, in simple terms, I have not been true to myself. I'm not true to my own conscience. So this is one regret people have, and that they say predominantly. I was only servicing others' expectation of me. I never serviced my own expectation. I have not been true to myself. So this is one major regret. And the second one they said is, second major regret is, I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. Towards the end of their life, they said so many great experiences. We went to great holidays, but at that time I had an argument with my partner on a breakfast, or you didn't pack this dress. I said, I wish I allowed. See, it's interesting. Regret is, I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. Which means what? There were many potential experiences I could have been happy, but I chose to be agitated. I chose to be disturbed. That's why when Venuji mentioned, I had no shoes and complained until I met a man who had no feet. It is like there are people who are, I hate the small car, you're beating yourself down. You see, I've seen at times you're in a nice car, and sometimes you see, especially in India, in the bus and all in Chennai, they travel in the bus and it is sweating, you're standing, and we're all living a blessed life.
Absolutely.
We're all living, and all that I'm saying is, I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. It is, see why it's a regret, because at that stage nothing can be done. You can't do, you went to so many places, you had great experiences, but you chose to be unhappy because of slight. You didn't pack my sunglasses, or instead of buying a new one and getting it done, so many. That's why I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. And the third one is a dangerous one. You said the third regret is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard in life. People in the last year said, I wish I hadn't worked so hard in life. Working hard is a must. There's no two ways about it. You have to work hard. But they said, I can be replaced within a week. Or sometimes even less than a week, you can be replaced. And why they say this, I define my entire life with one role. Now, me minus that role, I fall flat. See, the thing is, after that, they had an idea of, they want to go for trekking, Kilimanjaro. They want, but now 60 plus, and knees are not that easy, and you're only seeing National Geographic Kilimanjaro trekking videos. Or they wanted to learn an instrument, they wanted to learn a violin, or they want to write a book. Where was the time? Sunday also there are Zoom meetings. What I'm saying is, after a while the regret is, I wish I didn't work so hard, because 35 years I worked in an organization, I was replaced within a week. And 5 years later I went to the organization, nobody I know there. Nothing. That's why the point is, working hard is a must. You should give your 100%. But don't define your life with just one role. And he says, now you can't go for trekking. Now you want to learn a violin, but the left arm is always paining. You can't use that. All wrong notes coming, or I don't know. See, it is so that is one aspect. That's the third one, and the next one they said is, again, a negative, a regret is, he says, I wish I had the ability to express my genuine feelings and thoughts to my most important people. I wished I had that courage to express my genuine feelings and thoughts to my most important people. Because when they were there, you hardly spend time. When they are not there, every day you're talking to them. Thank you, Appa, or anything. When they are there, we are busy. I wish, that's why I said, those who cry the loudest in a funeral, those who never express themselves properly. If anybody, could be the way you mentioned, your spouse, your children, your parents, I wish I expressed how valuable my mother was. I did that. I expressed how it was. And there was a closure. So when both my parents are not there, but there was a closure. I couldn't express my father, but I made sure that I expressed it to my mother. And as a result, it's very different. So what we are saying is, I wish I allowed myself to be, I wish I expressed my genuine feelings and emotions to people who matter most. And then the last regret is, I wish I stayed in touch and with people who were important in my life. I wish I stayed in touch with people. When I say those who made an impact in your life, and you were good with them and they were very good with you, but you lost touch. Now you say, I don't have good friends now. But I wish I stayed in some touch with certain people. It is if everyone comes under the purview of ego or comparison, you can't relate with many people. I wish I stayed in touch with certain people where there was no ego involved. There was no comparison. Some kind of a, I'm sorry, if you, I wish I stayed in touch with people who were nice to me and I was comfortable with them. 10 years, 15 years, I lost touch. That regret. Now you are at a certain stage in life, you don't have any genuine conversation. Anyone you meet is, I have this villa, I have everything. It is so. All that we are saying is, a person regrets their action because their intellect was available after the performance of action, not before or while performing the action. So if you had the intellect before performance of action, you still keep that set of friends. Where you may be doing very well, he may be doing not that well, but still you are Shivaraman to them. They are not discussing, they are concerned about your happiness but not about your achievements. So that doesn't affect them. So regrets, that's why therefore what we are saying is, if you can minimize your regrets, there are always going to be some regrets, but minimize your regrets. And especially the last stage of life, to live with regrets is the worst thing to do. Why? Because there's no smile, there's no joy. There is always judgmental. So that's the expectation and regrets from my side. And I would like to know from, yes, Jay, go ahead.
Sir, expectations. Expectation, from me to others, from others to me. Expectation from the corporate field. Expectation of relatives and siblings and all these things. What you had, that 5 regrets, what you told me. Thanks to God. Only one thing which, I wanted to make that was my expectation, to be my father, to be happy, and I want to have him with us and things like that. Unfortunately, he died when I was not even, the olden days, the salaries are how it was and things like that. Thanks to Dubai, it gave us a fantastic opportunity and things like that. But even at that time also, and luckily my wife was very, very accommodative. He would like to be with us. But I couldn't do much more to him. He passed away. So that is still my regret. So that I ask his apology on an everyday basis in the morning and night. And again, in my prayer, I said, sorry, Pa, I couldn't do this to you. This is happening on a daily basis and all the time. So that is one thing. But with my other, we have groups, cousins group, I'm the only one who is in touch with everyone. In fact, this happened, one of my brother, this is my just personal, one of my brother was not talking with me for a long time. And I was here and I couldn't meet him. And one day, and once my another brother's Sashti-Purti has happened some 10-15 years back. He also came, I also visited there. Then I called him. What is the fight between you and me? You tell me, why are you not talking to me? We don't know how many years and things like that. That is absolutely, there is no property dealings or nothing happened. What made you to stop? Then he realized, and then, everything started. And again, he's like that. But now, when I go next time, I will definitely call him and talk to him. This is not the way. You are 70, maybe I'm 2-3 years, I'm younger to you. It keeps on going on this.
No, he has given away his age now.
So it cannot go like this. That's the only thing. But I will definitely make sure I will do that. But fantastic. I am in, with my friends and with everybody. In fact, one of my friend who's my senior to me, he's really 70. Poor guy, every day he calls me in boating. Every day. And some people, when he calls, they get irritated. Why is he troubling? But I'll make sure, he's 70. There's no job for him, nothing. At least 5 minutes speak to him will give some happiness to him and some Though I am busy or whatever it is, I just call him and he calls me. We talk and finish it off. And with brothers and sisters, I am the one who's in touch with everyone day one, day two. It keeps on going. That is with the relatives and all these things. When it comes to in a corporate field, sir, people expect me a lot, and I expect my subordinates to do and things like that. But I feel there should not be an unrealistic expectation. Unrealistic expectation definitely spoils the whole show. A person, for example, I tell you, sir, there was a long time back it happened. A general manager of mine has made a supervisor to executive housekeeper. And that guy is fit for a supervisor. If he's fit for that, only he's fit for that. Some people has the IQ and all these things to perform only that kind of a position. You make him to sit on that, and you expect him to perform and make his life miserable. That guy's life is miserable. Correct. And that guy was crying on a daily basis. One day I went to the general manager. He's a Lebanese general manager. Sir, this is your mistake. He's only fit for the supervisor. Why are you making his life miserable? You want to save some money because executive housekeepers will cost a lot. You want to just give him some little bit and then don't make his life miserable. Right. Put him in his own place, then he will perform happily. Correct. Then I brought somebody from India to be an executive housekeeper, and he is happy. So realistic expectation definitely regrets, and for the guy who's doing that. So this is what happening with my because I handle a huge team. These team members, if I have this kind of an expectation, and not only that, sir, if I have ego when I'm dealing with their expectations, nothing will satisfy me. Correct. I need to come to the reality in terms. So this guy is capable of doing this. I can expect only that from him, because when I have a lot of ego, my expectation is sky high, and I expect everybody to perform. If they are not performing, then I need to be tough with them. I need to take action against them. And when I tell this to my people, I don't see only that guy. I see back of him. Maybe he's having an ailing mother, maybe he's having a brother or sister who's yet to marry or somebody, and his parents must be waiting for his salary to be, remitted on every month and things like that. It is easy for me to do with my expectation. He's not fulfilled. Okay, HR, please remove him. But when he's lost his job, it's very difficult for him to get a job. And back home, definitely there. So I always give him a chance. So based on that, because when I have ego, I need this. I need to be served like this. I expect this. So everything when I comes, there is no end for it. Correct. So this is how happens. That is in corporate. I made it a point that too now only after coming to your class and not before that. Right. Before I was like a Hitler, very very hard, tough master. But now some people are telling me, sir, you taught us like this. Now we are successful. I don't know how it happened, but I was feeling ashamed how tough I was with you. And even now there is one guy, he's now hotel manager in Palm Jumeirah. That guy calls me every week. Oh, whatever you taught, I'm doing this. I said, I don't know. I was only shouting. So how it can happen to you? Anyways, maybe they have taken something. Correct. And when it comes to family life, sir, when my son, he was doing, he's not a very high getting marks, 95, 96, like that he will score. That is not high, yeah? I don't know what is high. So after finishing his 11th, I wanted to be IIT. So because I had a lot of IIT graduates in my, so he is saying everything, yes. And 11th standard, one day, when he is 11th standard, 3 months also passed, and one day his headmistress, she called me, what is happening to your son? I said, I don't know. What happened? Tell me. From science, he wants to go to commerce. 11th standard after passing 3 months. And now he doesn't know anything about accounts and things like that. So then I called him. I was very unhappy. I expected you to be IIT graduate, to see like, one of my cousin, Vadiraj Anna, why are you doing and all these things. He says, Papa, I'm not interested in that. I want to be a chartered accountant. I want to be in finance line. If you force me, I will do that. Then I had a discussion with my wife. My wife said, no, whatever his choice, you leave it to him. I agreed for that. Thanks to God, I didn't force him. He said, my expectation is okay, let me bury my expectation. Let him continue his Swadharma to be that. Thanks to God, he's doing really good, he's nice now and things like that. So I didn't bring my ego at that point. No, I am your father, you have to do and things like that. So that I didn't do. And even his marriage also, I didn't, when he told me, I said, okay, carry on, what to do? Because I wanted like this, my expectation is this. But anyhow, I'm very happy for him. I'm very, very happy for my daughter-in-law and all this. They're all fantastic. So sometimes it happens. So expectations sometimes will be full. As you very clearly said, expectations, when there are four things happens, you get what you want, or get you more than what you want expected. So that time we are happy. You get less than or exactly opposite of what you expected. So by God's grace, nothing happened to me so far exactly opposite, but definitely many times I was getting short of what I was expecting, but definitely we need to take it, sir. We cannot be getting, regrets all the time, depressions and all these things. So I that has not happened in my life. Maybe it's God's blessings. Maybe because of the teachings, I have not taken that kind of in a different manner.
Wonderful.
So this is what I feel about expectations.
Wonderful. Very candidly put across, and how it worked in their life. Excellent. Excellent. Shivaramanji, your views on expectation and
my definition of expectation is like you always, as I said before also, that you give in your best, results will follow. Like you have to look at corporate leadership, and whenever you work, if you focus on, let's say the company needs to go here or we need to do this, then you lose focus on the process and you lose focus on the steps. You do your best, and definitely there will be disappointments. There will be sometimes you won't get 100% of what you expect from a corporate point of view. Now, from an individual point of view from life, as Venuji rightly put it, as human beings, we always have expectations. The mind is always like a monkey, as you have mentioned before. From children, from family, from parents, and from the day we are born, we always think like, we should have got something. And I think most important point there is we expect people to behave as we want them to behave. We forget that everybody is a different individual. My two daughters are diametrically opposite. I can't put them together. Both are doing well. I'm happy with them, but very, very different individuals. Same thing with when you talk to friends. So as Venuji put, in corporate life, we work with a team, and I have been fortunate in my life that I've changed many jobs, worked in many countries. That every time I've got into a situation where I got into a company where it was like a startup. So I've been called into a situation. I've said, okay, here this thing, bring a team, put processes in place and try to take the company to the next level. But many times it's very frustrating, because when you get into and I've been thinking in my life, why did I not get a job in a nice setup like a Google or a Microsoft where I would go and have a nice job? But then, you don't...
Other side disagree.
I totally agree. But then, as he rightly said, you got to deal with different people. People are at different levels of growth. And once you are able to manage them, they give the best out, and you motivate them. They will give you the best possible results. Even with the children. Yes, many times we feel, as when they decide, okay, that this is the course I'm going to do, I want. Sometimes I think, okay, why is it necessary? Why don't you do something, which is much easier? And then, but then they, fortunately for me, when Swamiji emphasizes on Swadharma, I think they found out what they liked, and this 15 years ago when you taught us all of these things, let them follow their path, never put them into a herd mentality in terms of what they do. So it made me think. Wonderful. And I think 1% of the intellect came in, and I said, if they are deciding what they want to do, there must be something right in what they want to do. Why should I, as he rightly said, why should we get involved and say, this is not what you should do? And they surprise us pleasantly, later on when you look back, that good, I didn't force them to do something, whether it was a choice of partner, whether it was a choice of, what you do in life or a country where you live. So it's all about managing expectations of people, of situations, and even in the corporate life, every day is a challenge, every day is different. You have different bosses, you have different team members. The most trusted team member will let you down and go and change and go somewhere else. But that's all part of life. So it's all like
Correct.
over time you realize, it all happens for the good. And once you know to manage expectations, life is peaceful, it's blissful.
Correct.
And
Correct.
there is nothing that is not possible. If you put in your effort, decide a goal, accept the process, I always believe that one can do the best.
Wonderful.
And one can achieve whatever he needs.
Wonderful. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sitting here almost with a big burden of expectations, mainly from my son-in-law, Hari, and my daughter, Srinitha. When I said there is a podcast that's going to happen, and in fact, they also gave me some hints as to how to become popular. Why don't you take a contrarian view? But nevertheless, I'm going to stick to my Swadharma. So in terms of expectations, we always indulge in work, and there is always there is a result, right? I work in a company, I always get a salary, and it's a straightforward transaction. It is like more like a cause and effect kind of a thing, right? And if you put in effort, there is always a result. So there is always an expectation, and which is very normal. Now, what happens? Where is the problem? Where does the problem arise? Is when there is an uncertainty. When there is uncertainty, you expect something, but something else happens.
Right.
So that is where the problems comes into picture. Another main this thing is where you have unequal efforts. You put in less effort, but you expect something Himalayan results, right? So this is where the expectations is not commensurate with the efforts that you put in, and there is where the friction or the problem starts. And the third one is greed. You're putting less effort, but yet you probably want the great results.
Correct.
Now all of this puts a person into kind of a disappointments and regrets. So this is the result, right? And finally, how do you get on with this, right? I think it is very easily said than done. Expect the unexpected.
Right.
Always try to lessen your thing. As it usually comes when you see a lot of such disappointments, or when you're it's not meeting to your expectations. You always slowly tend to have a lower expectations, and that gives you probably a grounding. And this is probably one of the way where you can deal with this.
Absolutely.
As Venuji and he had said. In terms of there is expectations of you on others and others on you.
Correct.
Others on you, well, sometimes if you are in a social setting, you have to live to those expectations. Because you still have to have relationships, and so that is. But how well you handle is where probably the intellect comes into the picture. And in terms of acceptance, or in terms of expectations being moderated with you, you actually have to have lower expectations over a period of time. That's probably, you can say, maturity. So these are some of the things that I have gone through in my journey with you.
Correct.
And this has really helped me in moderating my expectations.
Wonderful, Ji. Wonderful. Very nice. See, expectation is going to be there all our life, till the last day of our life. Now, we expect one more day. So, see, what we are saying is, as you all mentioned, unrealistic, unreasonable expectation is the cause of disappointments, and disappointments leads to all the kinds of stress. Therefore, my guru used to say, have a right assessment of people, not judgment, but have a right assessment of the qualities, the nature of people, environments, everything as well. Have a right assessment. Therefore, there is no surprises. When there's no surprises, you don't get agitated. You don't get stressed out. And there is the others' expectation of you. That's why a realistic expectation, or a right assessment of the nature of the team you're working with, the partner you live with, the children you have brought in, your parents you have, or the neighbors, the weather. We are in a weather which is in a scorching heat. That's what you expect. That's your assessment. If I am wearing a three-piece suit and then suffering, so that aspect, have a right assessment. And so right assessment is a product of an intellect, which helps you to deal with the situation. Therefore, no surprises, there's no disappointments. There's no surprise, no disappointments. Therefore, stress would be there, will be very manageable. So, and there's another statement, beautiful statement I heard, and I wanted to share that. They said, understand our problems are never with the other person. It is our expectation of what the other person should be. Understand our problems are never with the other person, but it is our expectation of what the other person should be. Instead of trying to change the person, let us change our expectation towards that person. That is the only way, they say. Instead of trying to change the person, try and change the expectation towards that person. So this is one. And another beautiful statement which I want to share, it says, which is very difficult to live by. No expectations, total peace. Less expectations, reasonable peace. Unrealistic expectations, only problems. So I go the other way. Unrealistic expectations, only problems. Less expectations, reasonable peace. No expectations, total peace. It is difficult not to have any expectations, but many a times, if you observe, you enjoyed a lot because there was no expectation. It is suddenly you enjoy a lot. So only when so therefore it's a suggestion. And the third aspect is expectation should be focused on deserving rather than desiring. In life, there's a stern law. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. You may desire many things, but am I deserving enough of the desire? Even Thiyagarajan was mentioning, is my efforts commensurate with the results I expect? If the results I am not getting, are expecting I am not getting it, then I have to recast my efforts or improve my effort. It is so, the focus becomes on deserving. Desiring, you may desire the world, fine, nothing wrong, but the emphasis, the focus is on desiring. And the more, emphasis on deserving. You may desire a lot, but the focus is on deserving enough for that desire. Then what happens? Your intellect is under control. You are only looking into the cause. You are not worried about the effect, the result. So this is one. It's a great, it's an expectation and regrets.
Even sir, expectations, we expect people based on our likes and dislikes.
Correct.
My likes and dislikes may not be yours
Correct.
or his.
Correct.
Definitely differs
Correct.
a lot.
He likes to walk everywhere. It is how unreasonable it is. It is given a choice, he'll put on the shorts and walk up to the office.
Done, sir. Done.
So, correct. See, this is where our assessment comes in. That's why it's not judgment. Assessment, you're dealing in it is, I can't trust my expectations on others. You can create an environment where they motivate themselves and function, but you can't trust your expectations on others. The moment you start doing it, people start rebelling it. And you're going to have it could be your children, could be your spouse, could be your team. It's not going to work. So, in simple terms, you have no choice but to manage expectations gracefully, properly. You don't have a choice. Regret should not be a choice. In fact, if you understand that, I have to manage expectations of others and myself. And how do I do it? You take the inputs you have, experiences, or plus take the guidance of others and mentors and all that. Then what happens? It's a constant learning curve. And why I'm telling, sometimes people change. And there's a statement, people change and forget to tell you that they've changed.
Okay.
Suddenly, I never expected this person to be. They didn't tell you that they've changed. So you've taken by surprise. So it's a constant process. Now, finally, coming up to our discussion, very important contradiction and choice: aging gracefully and growing old. We want people to age gracefully. We don't want people to age. We don't want people to grow old. Growing, it is off late. Why I brought up this topic is, you're all people who are living life well. and we need more people to. And aging is you can't avoid. It's a process. Unless it is like Venuji who does reverses the age, and he's still not told me what his real age is. He keeps on, every time I said, I think he's 70, but he's not now. But he showed that his brother is 70.
No, that happened some 3 or 5 years old.
Correct. So, aging. So, this is what, there's a statement. When you add years to your life, you're growing old. When you add life to your years, you're aging gracefully. It's a simple statement, but it's a loaded statement. When you add life to your years, you are aging gracefully. When you add years, Y-E-A-R-S, when you add years to your life, you start growing old. When you add life to your years, you are aging gracefully. So, physically we are gonna age. We can't avoid. That's natural, but aging is predominantly mental. I thought I'll start with Thiyagarajan ji. Your views on aging gracefully and growing old.
Sure. Aging gracefully, I would say it is a sign of...
We're starting with you because you're the youngest among the group, I guess.
Thanks for the compliment.
Go ahead, Ji.
But Venuji and Shivaraman ji look much younger. Anyway, so aging gracefully is a sign of maturity, right? How can you find a person who has gracefully aged? He has a balance. He has a poise. He has seen it all, right?
Correct.
So maturity comes like in terms of having to experience firsthand. As you age, you might have seen so many situations in your life that has passed by. And that's probably one of the ways you mature. But you probably get the right lessons from each of these incidents and that has gone past. Another sign of maturity, I would say, taking things lightly, right? Don't take things seriously.
Correct.
Right. I'd come to that. Why you don't have to take things seriously? Part of the thing, right?
Correct.
And then thinking ahead and look into the larger picture, right? For each and every situation, right? You might react immediately.
Correct.
You can take a step back and think and see what's going to happen, and look at the larger picture.
Right.
Those kind of things. So that way, as you age, you probably take a pole position in terms of giving advice and showing your maturity. And I would say there are signs being empathetic and being humble, because there are so many situations in your life where you would have been humbled. You could have seen so many people who are much beyond your capability.
Correct.
Right. So you become humble. Correct. You know what are your limitations.
Correct.
So these are some of the signs of aging gracefully. And then how can you reach there? As I told you, by experience, right? Experience teaches you. That's the best teacher. There are so many positive things. There are so many failures. Correct. So many experiences that you might have had. And putting that into use is probably the best tool that you gracefully you age. And then acquire more and more knowledge. Even if you had not many experiences, you can still read the books by your Parama Guru or Paramartha Guru or Parthasarthi Ji.
Correct.
He has written quite a few books, and that keeps you in good stead.
Correct.
How to bring in your intellect and those kind of things. And seeing the big picture and everything, I'll come to the point where I said, why do you have to see the big picture always and not to harp on smaller things? Is we have very little time more to live, right? So we have to live whatever time we have. So that is the most important point of time. And aging gracefully means being content, being happy. And this is one of the primary motivators. Correct. Where with a very little time ahead, we need to make best use of this time.
Correct.
And growing old, well, as you said, physically, yes, you may grow old, right? But of course, there are a couple of guys who defy that, defy this. Yet, this is more physical.
Correct.
But from mentally, not having negative thoughts, not having an ego.
Right.
These are the things probably you can gracefully age on a mental thing. What are the things that you probably don't look into, or what are the things that can, if you don't age gracefully, leads to being neglected sometimes, and loneliness sets in.
Right.
If you are not mature enough to deal with things, deal with your sons and daughters, your relationships, right? You become lonely.
Right.
And then at least physically you got to be fit. So those who are in the 50s and 60s, at least now we should start to be physically fit, gain some knowledge to be mentally prepared for the next years, several years or decades.
Right.
And this I would probably say, instead of say growing old, I would rather flip it and say aging gracefully.
Correct. Absolutely right. Aging gracefully, and in a well put. It is. My whole suggestion is growing old should not be an option. Aging gracefully is the only option. And more from you, Shivaramanji, on this.
Okay, like for me, I've just looked at age as a number. Like the other day, I was watching a podcast of I do investing, some little bit of investing. I was watching Warren Buffett's last AGM of his company. He's 95 years old, and it was the most sought after AGM. It's on YouTube in case you guys have not seen. At 95, the agility of his brain and the way he was answering questions, probably like it would even at 30 or 40 people may not have that energy. What is different? He's having a bottle of Coke, but every question he was like answering so nicely. And then he stepped down gracefully. He said he has appointed a successor, and 95 years old. When I talk to my uncle, he's 94 years old, and he's very active. So what is different? Why do people say at 50 I become tired or I'm old and so on? It's just that you have gained more experience.
Correct.
When in my place of work, every member is in my team. If I take the average age, it's between 30 to 35. Now, so what I feel is life has given us a lot of opportunities, a lot of beautiful moments. If you look at them, and every day, as you rightly said, count your blessings, look at, express gratitude. It's a beautiful journey.
Correct.
It's in terms of biological process, yes, we all know that we will grow old, we'll grow older. But if you live by the moment, enjoy every moment, be thankful to to your parents. As you rightly said, one of the things that I do every day, when you said get up in the morning, the first prayer you say, Mata Pita, pranams to Mata Pita, Guruji and Daivam. It's such a beautiful prayer.
Correct.
From the time you are born, every time you have only been receiving.
Correct.
So yes, we go through that journey, we all live that life, and I think, as I said, but health is very important, and our living example is Venuji, walking 10 kilometers every day at this age, which we all got to learn. We got to stay.
What do you mean at this age? He is not even 40.
Thank you, sir. Special butterfly.
And the points that very rightly, Thiyagarajan ji mentioned, deal with life, deal with, every moment of your life, and be happy, look inward, express gratitude, start, give the best out of you to everyone. And I think that should be your journey. And
Correct. Nothing, right. That's the way. It is, that's what, it's interesting. So again, all of you, growing old is never an option, should not be an option. You grow old out of sheer wrong living. Yes, you're wonderful. Thank you. And we are going to the last point in that podcast is to the person who is aging gracefully. And all of you, but rockstar youngster, correct. Solunga, sir.
Sir, you used to tell us very often in the classes, we have to undergo these stages: birth, growth, disease, decay, and finally death. Okay. Physical body, definitely. After some time, definitely it perishes and things like that. So, when you are becoming old, gracefully, or whatever it is, some of the things which till the time we need to, we are here, we need. One is mental health, one is physical health. Material wealth also definitely need.
Correct.
In Tamil there is a saying, Mudumayil Varumai Migavum Kodiyadu. So we don't want that. So that we need to we need to do that. Even many scriptures are also saying that material wealth. And our scriptures and our Vedantic knowledge tells a lot about how you have to be in old ages.
Correct.
These are all the things and you have taught us. It has been a long journey since, if you look at in Bhajagovindam, there is a verse on the fourth. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Only Sreedharan can do that. Fourth verse, where the lotus flower, the lotus leaf, which
Correct.
is unsteady and things. So that needs to be, always in our mind. Till the time, whenever we are there, let's be happy.
Correct.
There is no expectation when you are becoming old. There is no expectation from others, and definitely nobody will expect from you because you are old. They will say, okay, so your preferences are definitely different because my preference is not their preferences. And we don't want to be old to make them suffer. Correct. And things like that. We don't want to get disease and things like that. We need to be healthy. So you need to definitely do some physical Correct. Exercise. As Swamiji is a lot of times he said, when something is not used, rusted, it becomes totally Correct. Gone. So these are all the things we need to see gracefully. When I'm saying gracefully aging, mentally, physically it can happen anything. So I'm not, but physically to happen only all these physical exercise Correct. And things like that. And then if you look at, you always say in the class, all the world's stage and all the men and women are nearly players. They have their exits and their entrances. This definitely okay. What happens? Death. So when we are born, the death process starts from the day we are born. It keeps on going. Every Correct. Day we are marching towards one step towards death. So that has to be in the Correct. Mind all the time. So that is the process of death begins at that time itself. So the cycle of birth and death, even Punarapi Jananam, Puranapi Jananam, Bhajagovindam, he said. And some of the Bhagavad Gita, after you have taken as nearly 4 cycles, is finished now. Some of them are very, it is really catching me. It's very difficult for me to understand without your help. If you see chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, the verse 13, Dehi nosmin yata dehe, how the embodied goes, from youth, this, and it goes. So definitely we need to see this something else more than this physical body or mind and intellect. So Correct. Concentrate, and it's too difficult to that, and how we can go. This is definitely difficult, but at least contemplate what is going to happen. So let's see, imbibe some good qualities and things like that. Even in Akshara Brahma Yoga, there is a verse 5 and 6. The last thought, Krishna, if you say Krishna, you will all your, and he says the last thought will be the resultant of all your old thoughts. So try the mind to have good thoughts Correct. For a long period, so that at the time of your departure, you can have a thought of the divinity. So you can definitely pass on to that. And in Sankhya Yoga, verse 22, Vasamsiji, that is always in Correct. My mind, sir, how it goes. So what we have to see, and you have told very clearly, you are the product of your past and a producer of the future. That is always in the mind. From the day you have told us, it is in my mind. So I need to be ready for that journey. So it is definitely, it will keep happening. I'm not going to be enlightened now, nothing. Maybe thousands of years it will take, janmas to get in. So my next journey, what I should be. So that causal body, you have very clearly said, which is the cause for your next rebirth. So that is also in my mind. So how I can be like this. Definitely that will manifest when in my thing. And even if you look at some of the, thanks to you again, your USP only. I am listening. I'm sure Saritaji is bored always when we are going to the temple. If you look at the Adi Adangam Varkayada, that song, Mudalil Namakellam Totilada Kan Moodinal Kalilla Katilada Maranam. That's, think about it. Yes, it's a lifestyle. No expectation, and let's live happily. Let's go. So whatever the ill thoughts, just to reduce and see what is going to be my next journey. So physical body definitely will perish. So what is going to be the next janma? What is traveling? Let's make that whatever it's traveling. Let's make that little pure. If not say, I cannot say that it's going to be a saint going little bit pure. So we know what it, because all these knowledges in scriptures is giving these knowledges to to happen. So these kind of things I feel definitely
Wonderful.
one should imbibe maybe after 50 or something like
Then,
that.
correct.
So,
Absolutely. You're right. The reason is when you don't have the right values, if you have sometimes even one role in our life, each one has different roles. You're a spouse, you're a parent, you're an employee, you're an entrepreneur, you're a brother or a sister. Sometimes one or two roles not executed well also plays a heavy part in the later part of a life. That sense of the regrets, disappointments, all that is there. So if a person is true to themselves, high value systems, spiritual alignment, you are working on yourself regularly. I mean, material level, physical level, spiritual level, you're working. Then the natural effect will be you'll be aging gracefully. You'll be aging, and that is how we should live. The other way around of when we talk about growing old, you'll find a person who grows old, their udhana shakti is very less. They says, I can't do this, I can't do that, and otherwise, thought absorption. They can't absorb fresh thoughts, and then they lose their smile, the laughter is gone, and they become pessimistic. So these are all the signs of growing old. You're irritable. All these things become, these are all because your disappointments and agitations will come in a certain way. So all that we're saying is a person who, to conclude the podcast, we say when you have the right thought process, that's where we keep highlighting, without improving the quality of thoughts and emotions, nothing in our life improves. So when you have that spiritual alignment, when you have high value systems, when you prioritize your roles well, and you are consistent, Shraddha is there, you'll be able to deal with expectations, you will experience contentment, and you will age gracefully. So this is eventually the wise choices every person should make. So thank you all. Yes, sir.
Not to have regrets.
Yeah.
I already, maybe our cousins group, brothers group, I've already expressed my gratitude. Everybody has contributed to me for my growth and things like that. My sister brought me here long years back. My brother helped me to come. I expressed my gratitude to everyone, sir, including all my brothers, sisters, cousins, everybody. Only one cousin, he is not in the group. When I see it, I will express my gratitude to them because they all contributed.
Right.
And the biggest gratitude to you and Sreedharan to bring me, in these things. I'm just telling you from the heart. Otherwise, my life would have been like normal, everybody's life. It goes and things like that. But these things are like, okay, what I should be, because hardly the number of days are calculated. It's fine. It's okay. Whatever we have done in my next Janma, what I should be. So accordingly, just training the mind, having that kind of a thoughts, so that it will be, at least I may be 50%. Because you very clear, Krishna also said, you also said, the causal body, searches for a conducive womb, and then it goes.
Correct.
So that's what happening. One more thing, sir, I have not
Please.
mentioned the people whom I met. I mentioned Shiv, Deepa, everybody, but I also want to mention Prashant. Such a lovely character, sir. He has no agenda, hidden agenda, nothing. Plain, straightforward guy. Okay, whatever he has, that's a different thing, but I really love it. All the best to him.
Wonderful.
That's important to him.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time, for your efforts,
Thank you
for contributing to your thoughts. Thank you. Hari.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.